Whenever I'm feeling down, hopeless about the state of the world, the one person who never ever lets me down that I love to turn to is the late, great Dr. Jane Goodall. Welcome everyone to Sunflower Storytime with me, Kathleen, where we tell tales that celebrate the resiliency of the human spirit and leave us feeling hopeful and inspired. So, gather around, scooch on in, and I'll tell you a few of my favorite things about the world's greatest wildlife warrior, Jane Goodall. I'm sure you know plenty about this incredible woman already. She has made a massive impact on the world, but I've recently read a few books of hers and about her, and I'd love to tell you some of my favorite things that I've learned, and maybe something you didn't know as well. Number 1, she did not study at university. When she took her first steps onto Gombe to study the chimpanzees, she had no official training or degree. She did not study science at university. She couldn't afford to go to full university for a degree, so she went to school for secretarial training and worked doing clerical work. She spent her free time studying and reading what she could about animals. She had dreamed of working with animals since she was a child, and when her friend invited her to go visit her in Africa, she was thrilled and worked as much as she could to afford the ticket to go. During her time in Africa, while staying with a friend, she found work to do to earn her keep there and made some social connections. And by asking around, she was able to contact Louis Leakey, a paleoanthropologist in the area who was doing digs and research into early primates and humanity. She made an appointment to meet with him, and what perfect timing it was because his office assistant had just resigned that week. She offered herself as a candidate, and he hired her immediately. So it was luck that got her into the right place at the right time. But she also took the initiative to get herself there. She sought him out and marketed herself to him. When Louis was looking to send someone into the jungle in Gombe to study chimpanzees, Jane was right there. He was looking for someone without real scientific background because he didn't want their mind clouded with previous conceptions. He also specifically wanted a woman in this role because he believed women were more equipped for field observation and more patient. And when she was required to go accompanied for this adventure, she couldn't go solo, she chose her mom to go with her. But for the record, she would go on to complete and obtain a degree as far as a doctorate. It just was a few years after her initial study there. Number 2, while she may be untrained, she was not ill-prepared. So she didn't have a degree or formal training, but that does not mean that she went into fieldwork completely blind. She learned what she could about where she was going and researched what was known all about the animals that inhabited Gombe, not just the chimps. This preparation saved her life numerous times. When she was confronted by a rhino, she knew to stand very still, try to blend into the trees behind her because she knew it couldn't see her very well, and if she stood still and waited, it would go on its way and leave her behind. She also knew not to run from a lion when she practically bumped into one because that would trigger its prey drive and she wouldn't be able to outrun it. Number 3, not just men use tools. It was from Jane's patient observation that the first animal was seen using a tool and even creating and altering them. Until Jane went into that jungle, the belief held firm at the time was that only humans created tools, and that's what set us apart from the rest of the animal kingdom. Man, the tool maker. Her observation challenged the entire world's conception of ourselves. Number 4, ability to coax people into believing. When she presented a lot of her findings to the scientific community, there was a lot of pushback. Doctors and scientists straight up didn't believe her when she came back with some pretty profound observations and analysis that contradicted the current understanding. She was specifically told not to mention certain things during lectures that she gave. For example, they didn't believe that chimps, and really all animals for that matter, could experience emotions like humans did and had such developed minds. But the way she handled it was so graceful and smart. She didn't get outwardly angry. She didn't dig her heels in and push. Instead, she showed them what she knew. She showed film, made thought-out arguments, and let them take their time. She presented the evidence so that they could see that her conclusion was correct. And she even invited some into the field to observe what she was talking about. And for the rest of her life, Jane had the uncanny ability to stand in front of someone or a large group of people and take them along with her and believe in what she had to say. She spent decades fighting for chimps that were caged and abused in medical research labs. She visited the facilities, then educated the lab directors and staff on what she knew about chimps, and showed them why what they were doing was wrong. Why treating them in this fashion was so horrible for the chimps. And they listened to her. I'm sure it took time and there was plenty of issues getting change to happen, but she got almost all chimps out of medical research in the United States. She spent the rest of her life fighting for all animals, for the environment, the climate, and social justice. And when she spoke, people were inspired and moved to action. She fought to make the world a better place by educating. Number 5, her favorite animal is the dog. After all Jane's animal encounters, the years studying chimps, and all the fancy and exotic animals she lived amongst, her favorite animal is the dog. When she was young, there was a hotel nearby, and there was a dog named Rusty, and he became her playtime companion. She taught him how to do tricks, and he showed her how magnificent the mind of an animal is. Through the end of her life, she was surrounded by rescue dogs, and always preferred to take walks with a dog. She said it gives a walk a purpose. And she credits a dog to helping her through the loss of her husband years ago. I agree that dogs are the best. What do you think? What do you think? Yeah. I will now spend the rest of this video covered in dog fur. No dogs were harmed. She was financially compensated with snacks. Number 6, Jane's 4 reasons to hope. In 2021, Jane and Douglas Abrams wrote a book together called The Book of Hope. Here it is. Of course, I loved it, and I recommend everyone to read it as well. Doug outlines Jane's 4 reasons for hope. The first being the amazing human intellect, that humans have an amazing, growing, and evolving intellect that is capable of solving all of our major issues. It's true that humans also created many of the issues facing us today, but once we learn of our faults, we learn and we can change and we can decide to do better. After all, we are half sinners, half saints, as Jane said. Reason number 2, the resilience of nature. The moment we leave nature alone and draw back from even desecrating levels of environmental destruction, nature always rebounds. She cites examples like the survivor tree, saved from the wreckage at Ground Zero on 9/11, and an ancient tree that survived the atomic bomb in Nagasaki. Jane speaks of her admiration of Native Americans who speak of nature as brothers and sisters, and if we thought this way, we would inherently respect our surroundings and be more grateful for the natural world. Nature has a built-in resilience and will to live, if we let it live. Reason number 3, the power of young people. Children are the future and are eager to learn and care about things. Jane started a youth program called Roots and Shoots to help empower young people into making changes to help their environment and their own communities. It's blossomed into a worldwide success and is helping shape tomorrow's leaders. And I'm telling you, Jane has thought of everything, and she made it happen. Reason number 4, the indomitable human spirit. Jane thinks of spirit in this way. It's the quality in us that makes us tackle what seems impossible and never give up. Despite the odds, despite the scorn or mocking of others, despite possible failure. The grit and determination to overcome personal problems, physical disability, abuse, discrimination. The inner strength and courage to pursue a goal at any cost, to self in a fight for justice and for freedom. Her entire life, Jane never gave up for hope for a better world. I think that's what I admire most about her, that even if change felt impossible, she went for it anyway. When she went up against these big medical research labs, they were knowingly or unknowingly abusing chimps in cages. She knew it was going to be an uphill battle, and she might not win it. But she had to try. She tried her hardest, and it worked. She didn't give up. If Jane believed in humanity until the very end, then I do too. We can all try to work together, be the change that we want to see in the world. And lastly, number 6, the next big adventure. When asked in her later years what her next big adventure would be, Jane replied, death. Well, when you die, there's either nothing, in which case fine, or there's something. If there's something, which I believe, what greater adventure can there be than finding out what it is? Jane lived a full life, true to herself, true to others, and used her time on this earth to improve it. She ended in a place of contentment and love, it would seem. I can't think of anything more promising and peaceful about life than that. Doug ends the Book of Hope with a passage that's very appropriate posthumously. Good luck, Jane, I thought, and I felt another hope rise in me, that she would have the strength to continue for many more years. And I also knew that there would be a day when she would begin her next great adventure, binoculars and notebook at the ready, and that the indomitable human spirit in all of us would finish what she could not. Well put, Doug, and cheers to that, to carrying on her legacy. I'm so happy that this woman walked amongst us for so long and that she took the time to share as much as she did with us. Thank you, Jane, and I hope you're having the ultimate next adventure. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed reminiscing about this wonderful woman's life together. I'll see you again soon.